Have you ever felt like you're just kind of stumbling through life, like you missed the day they handed out the instruction manual? Well, today we're diving into this really fascinating book by George Taylor, Nature of Light, and it suggests that not only does a manual exist, but we're the ones writing it.
See, Taylor suggests that the confusion so many of us feel comes from a pretty simple misunderstanding. We've just forgotten the basic laws that run the show. We feel cut off from nature, and because of that, we feel cut off from ourselves. And that leads to a life that feels totally chaotic and, unpredictable.
But what if one single, powerful truth could snap everything back into focus? The whole philosophy of this book hangs on this one idea, the law of correspondence. It's the answer, plain and simple. What you see out there, it's just a direct mirror of what's going on in here.
So let's really unpack that. This idea is the master key that unlocks everything else we're going to talk about. And the thing is, understanding that the world is a mirror, that's not just some nice poetic thought. According to Taylor, it is the fundamental operating system of our reality.
Okay, so why is the reflection we see so often messy or distorted? Well, it's because most of us are running on bad code. We just absorb all these fragmented ideas and confused patterns from the world around us, and we never really stop to ask, hey, is this actually true? We end up imitating instead of creating, and that means we don't really know ourselves at all.
Now, to really get this, we have to look at one word in a new way: light. Yeah, scientifically, we know it's a wave, it's a particle, it's the cosmic speed limit, right? But in this framework, light is also so much more. It's the actual substance of thought itself. It's pure intelligence. It's awareness. Taylor argues that all of creation, everything, begins with this metaphysical light.
So if our inner world is projecting our outer reality, then it makes sense we need to understand the architecture of that inner world, right? And what Taylor says is that it's not just one mind doing all the work. It's a really complex three-part system.
First up, you've got the subconscious. Just think of it like raw, undirected horsepower. It's the engine. It takes any instruction you give it and just executes. No questions asked. Then there's the conscious mind. That's the one we're all familiar with. It's the part that looks at the world, but it gets easily fooled by appearances and tends to accept limitations as facts. And then there's the superconscious. You can think of this as the mind of pure divine order. It's the part of us that's plugged into universal truth and perfect harmony.
And here's the key. These three minds are not separate entities. They're totally interwoven. Our conscious thoughts and beliefs make an impression on the subconscious, and the subconscious goes to work creating that reality. The whole game is to get your conscious and subconscious minds aligned with the deep wisdom of the superconscious.
Now, this whole inner world, this system of minds, it doesn't just operate on whims. It follows a very precise set of rules, fundamental laws that are just as real and just as consistent as gravity. These are the actual mechanics of creation.
Taylor lays out 11 of these universal principles. You've got divine oneness, the idea that we're all connected, then vibration, attraction, all the way down to things like rhythm and gender. But don't think of them as 11 separate rules. They're more like 11 different faces of the same single unified law.
And guess what? All of them point right back to that master key we started with, the law of correspondence. As above, so below. It's an ancient saying, and it means that the spiritual, the mental, and the physical worlds are all just reflections of each other. Whatever you hold in your mind as true will eventually show up in your world. There's just no way around it.
And get this is not some new idea. Ancient traditions, like the Egyptians with their whole concept of Ma'at, which was all about divine order and harmony, they built entire civilizations on this stuff. They knew that aligning with these natural laws was the secret to creating a society that was prosperous, balanced, and strong.
Okay, so that's the theory, right? The world is a mirror of our three-part mind, and that mind operates according to these universal laws. Cool, but what do we do with that? How do we actually use it? Well, let's get practical, because the book gives us some really specific tools to master what it calls the art of thought.
So the first tool is called the triple gaze. It's a way of looking at any situation from 3 different altitudes. First, you've got the literal view, the actor's view. You ask, okay, what do I actually have to do right now? Next, you zoom out to the allegorical view, the observed. You ask, what does this whole situation symbolize? What's the deeper pattern I'm seeing here? And finally, you go way up to the anagogical view, the observer. And you ask, how does this fit into the grand cosmic scheme of things?
When you can do that, when you master this triple gaze, you develop what Taylor calls the grandfather mind.
It's this incredible perspective where you can rise above the immediate chaos and just see the unity in everything. You're not just reacting anymore. You're understanding the entire pattern all at once.
The second tool is a super powerful practice called the mental fasting protocol. It's a 4-step process for cleaning out all that negative junk from your mind. Step 1. You identify the parasitic thought, some belief rooted in fear or lack. Step 2, and this is so important, you do not fight it. You just withdraw your attention because your attention is what feeds it. Third, you immediately swap it out with a high-frequency thought, something like gratitude or order. And finally, step 4, you guard the gates. You start limiting all the negative stuff coming at you from the outside world.
And that last step, guarding your mind, this quote from the book just nails it perfectly. It's like, a farmer doesn't invite a bunch of crows over to watch him plant his seeds, right? So why on earth would you invite the world's doubts and negativity to watch you create your thoughts?
So when you put all this together, it leads to one pretty profound conclusion. We are not just victims of our circumstances. Not at all. We are the architects of our own reality. And the whole point of this philosophy is to wake up to that fact and consciously step into that role to bring ourselves back to a state of divine order.
At the end of the day, the pattern of thought we hold inside becomes the world we live in outside. And what we call good and evil, they aren't these huge cosmic forces. Good is just being in alignment with these natural harmonious laws. And evil is just being out of alignment, a cross-current. The universe is always trying to get back to balance and order.
And that means everything we really want, peace, knowledge, love, prosperity, it's not something we have to pray for or beg for from some source outside of us. It's something we grow. The seeds are already inside. When our mind is aligned with these natural laws, it becomes like a divine artist, literally shaping reality from the inside out.
So, I'll just leave you with this to think about. If this is all true, if your life right now is a perfect mirror of what's going on inside you, what is the very first thought you would choose to change?